You've been there before. You just can't remember when. A hallway that stretches too far. Parking lot with no other cars. A mall corridor where the stores are closed and the lights are humming and you can't remember how you got here. You know this place. You've definitely been here. But you can't say where, or when, or why it makes your skin feel tight. These are liminal spaces. The places between places. The thresholds. The in-betweens. They're not supposed to be destinations. They're supposed to be passed through. Hallways. Stairwells, lobbies, waiting rooms, gas stations at midnight, school hallways in summer. But sometimes you stop, sometimes you notice, and when you do, something shifts. The air feels different, the silence feels heavier, the geometry feels wrong, and you realize that these places, these transitional non-places, have been watching you pass through them your entire life. And they've been waiting for you to notice. The word liminal comes from the Latin limen, threshold, the space between one state and another. It was coined by anthropologists in the 1960s to describe the middle phase of rituals. The moment when you're no longer what you were but not yet what you'll become. The initiate between childhood and adulthood. The bride between single life and marriage. The mourner between having someone and losing them. It was supposed to describe a moment in time, a psychological state, a phase of transition, but the internet took the word and bent it, stretched it, applied it to physical spaces, to places that exist between destinations, places you pass through but never stay in, places that feel empty even when they shouldn't. Places that trigger a feeling you can't name. A nostalgia for somewhere you've never been. A homesickness for a home that doesn't exist. The first liminal space images appeared on 4chan around 2017. Empty mall corridors. Abandoned pool rooms. Office buildings at night. The captions were simple. Just feelings. Just vibes. But something about them resonated. Millions of people looked at these images and felt the same thing. A deep, nameless unease. A recognition. As if the images were showing them a place they'd been in their dreams. A place they'd always known but never had words for. By 2019, the concept had exploded. Reddit communities formed. Tumblr blogs curated collections. TikTok videos set eerie music to photographs of empty airports and deserted playgrounds at dusk. The aesthetic had a name, liminal spaces, and it was tapping into something primal, something older than the internet, something that had been lurking in the architecture of the modern world since we started building places designed to be passed through, not lived in, just passed through. And the more we built these places, the more they started to feel like they were alive. Here's what makes liminal spaces unsettling. It's not that they're dangerous. It's not that something bad happens there. It's that they feel wrong in a way you can't articulate. You're standing in a hotel corridor at 2 in the morning. The carpet has that particular pattern. The kind that's designed to hide stains. The lights are dim. Some of them are flickering. The corridor stretches in both directions and you can't see where it ends. Every door looks the same. Room 312. Room 314. Room 316. They go on and they all look identical, and you realize that if you opened any of them, the room behind the door would be exactly the same as the room next to it and the room next to that. Nothing is wrong. There is nothing threatening. There is no monster, no ghost, no shadow figure standing at the far end of the hall. And yet, your body knows something is wrong. Your instincts are firing. The hair on your arms is standing up. Your heart rate has increased by 5 beats per minute and you don't know why. You feel like you're being watched, but there's no one there. You feel like you shouldn't be here, but you can't explain why. You feel like this place was not meant for you. Not for anyone. Not for living things. This is the uncanny valley of architecture. The feeling that a place is almost right but not quite. That it's mimicking a real space but getting the details wrong. That it's a copy of somewhere real but the original never existed. Psychologists call it the uncanny. Freud wrote about it in 1919. Das Unheimliche, the unhomely, the feeling of something being familiar and strange at the same time, of recognizing something that should not be recognizable, of being in a place that feels like home but isn't. Liminal spaces trigger the uncanny because they're places designed for transience. They're not meant to be experienced. They're meant to be ignored. You walk through a hallway to get to a room. You drive through a parking lot to get to a store. You pass through an airport terminal to get to a gate. These spaces exist to be overlooked. They're the connective tissue between the places that matter. But when you stop, when you notice them, when you stand still in a place that was only designed for movement, something breaks, the illusion shatters, and you see these places for what they really are. Empty, purposeless, waiting. Let me take you through some of them. The empty mall. Once the cathedral of consumerism. Now a mausoleum. The escalators stand frozen. The fountains are dry. The skylights let in pale light that falls on tile floors that haven't been walked on in months. The stores are dark. The mannequins stand in their windows wearing last season's fashion, and their plastic faces are turned toward you and they might be smiling. The music system still plays sometimes. Music that echoes through empty corridors. A song from 2003 that no one chose to play. That just plays because the system was never turned off. The school at night. During the day it's full of life. Hundreds of voices. Footsteps, laughter, but at night, in summer, when the building is empty, the hallways become something else. The lockers stand in rows like soldiers. The fluorescent lights buzz. The floor tiles reflect the light in a way that makes the corridor look like it goes on forever. The trophies in the glass cases gleam in the dark. The names on the plaques are people who walked these halls years ago. People who grew up and moved away and forgot. But the school remembers. The school keeps their names in glass cases under fluorescent lights that never turn off. The airport at 3 in the morning. The gates are empty. The duty-free shops are shuttered. The conveyor belts have stopped moving. The departure boards show flights to cities that are sleeping right now. Somewhere a plane is crossing an ocean carrying 300 people who will land in a place that isn't ready for them yet. The carpet has that pattern again. The one designed to hide stains. The seats are arranged in rows that face each other like a waiting room for the end of the world. And the announcements still come. Gate changes. Boarding calls. Flights that left hours ago. The system talking to no one. The parking garage. Concrete and fluorescent. Level after level of empty spaces. Your footsteps echo. The sound comes back to you from every direction and you can't tell where you are. The pillars create blind corners. Every corner could hide something. Every shadow could be a person. Or not a person. The exit signs glow red. They all point in different directions. You follow one and it leads to another level. Another row of empty spaces. Another set of pillars and blind corners. You've been walking for 10 minutes and you haven't found your car. You're not sure your car is here anymore. You're not sure this is the right level. The hotel corridor. We talked about this one. But it deserves more. The hotel corridor is the purest liminal space. Every hotel corridor looks the same. Every hotel corridor could be in any hotel in any city in any country. They're designed to be interchangeable, to feel familiar, to feel like nowhere in particular. And when you're standing in one at 3 in the morning, having woken from a dream you can't remember, in a city you arrived in yesterday and will leave tomorrow, the corridor reveals its true nature. It's not a place. It's a non-place. A space between sleeping and waking, between arriving and leaving, between being somewhere and being nowhere. And it goes on forever. There are theories about why liminal spaces affect us this way. The first is pattern recognition. Human brains are pattern-matching machines. We evolved to recognize faces in the grass, to spot predators in the shadows, to find the path home through the forest. When we encounter a space that doesn't have a clear pattern, a space that's designed to be uniform, where every section looks like every other section, our pattern recognition fails. We can't orient ourselves. We can't build a mental map. And that failure triggers anxiety. The anxiety of being lost, of not knowing where we are, of not knowing which direction is out. The second theory is about expectation violation. We expect spaces to have a purpose. A living room is for living. A kitchen is for cooking. A bedroom is for sleeping. When we enter a space and can't identify its purpose, we feel unsettled. Liminal spaces have no purpose other than connecting to other spaces. They exist for other spaces. They're the grammar between the words. And when we stand in them and experience them directly, we're reading the grammar without the sentence. We're seeing the connection